I first fell in love with theater. I was actually a late bloomer. I wasn't involved in theater at all until I was in high school. I grew up in San Diego, and when I was transferring from junior high to high school, we lived near a school in Chula Vista that was very well known for its gangs and its drugs. And that was not our family background. I played piano a little bit at that point. I had studied organ and piano with our church organist. And so there was a performing arts high school in San Diego that you can live outside of the district and go there, Chula Vista High School for the Performing Arts. I went there as a piano player. And it was a regular high school. It actually excelled in academics, athletics, and the arts. So I was keeping my grades up, doing my piano thing, and started getting a little more feel into the theater. I went to my first audition when I was 16 for Christian Community Theater, which is down in eastern San Diego County, and did Sound of Music on the top of a mountain, which was really kind of cool, Mount Helix down there. And I was the third Nazi from the left. I said, "They're gone, they're gone." That was pretty fun. I enjoyed that. So I kind of switched my focus and auditioned for their vocal ensemble at the school and then their vocal dance ensemble, very much like Glee. Auditioned for that and was like, okay, this is cool. But I'm still going to be an FBI agent because that's what I've always wanted to do. I started college as a criminology major at UC Irvine, went to audition for their choir, got cast in their elite choir, got cast as the lead in their madrigal dinner as King Henry. That's when I started to go, wow, I could really, okay, this is kind of fun. So then I was a music and criminology double major. Then the music focused on opera. What's this opera thing? Classical music, I don't think so. So I went to drama with a focus on musical theater, got cast in my first professional show. Still wasn't really hooked. Still wanted to be the FBI agent. Was raised in a family of professionals. Dad in the Navy, mom a nurse. Gotta do the steady thing. And it was at the age of 19 when I was cast at Opera Pacific, which was at the Orange County Performing Arts Center, now the Segerstrom Center for the Arts, in a production of La Traviata. 19 years old, I walk out onto a bare stage, looking out in the audience of the Segerstrom Center, and I started to cry. I was like, this is where I need to be. And then I really started to get into the musicals and whatnot. So there wasn't a particular show or particular performer. It was the experience of actually being there. And it was like, wow. Local and regional theaters are very important. You've got Broadway, which appeals to the grand masses. But to really get to the heart of the grand masses, you need to go to the core, which is the local communities that make up that mass. The local and regional theaters have the ability to reach out to the local communities, particularly in the nonprofit theater sector, because you're so much more involved hands-on with the community, be it ranging from veterans to women's groups to deaf groups to anything. You can reach out to the local people and make a difference in their lives, as well as them being able to make a difference in your lives as a performer. You become more educated about, this is what's around me. This is how you can turn whatever may be bad in the world into good in your area and have that good spread into a broader spectrum. Theater and musicals are very unique experiences. I'm going to approach this as if I was talking to someone who had only ever seen movies and watched the Super Bowl on their television. You've got this static thing in front of you that it's basically there's a wall, a whole different world between you and this piece of glass on a TV or on a movie screen. If they were to go to a theater and experience drama or a musical, there's a whole new world that's opened up to them. In movies and all of that, you've got millions of dollars that can be thrown into special effects, cinematography, all those things that I don't even know what they are. But when you're actually sitting in a theater as an audience member watching art evolve in front of you, you are forced to tap into your imagination a lot of times. I call it the suspension of disbelief. It's much more intimate. It's much more personal. It's much more hands-on. And there are different types of theater where there can be interactive and immersive theater where they're actually like in the action of what's going on, or they can be sitting there involved in a story of someone else's life where they may be able to relate to something on an immediate experience. Then you've got the performers on stage that are doing that for the theater goer. And there's an energy that goes back and forth where the actors feed from the audience and the audience feed from the energy of the actors. And it's a very unique experience that you can't get from a big screen in a movie theater. So it's very fascinating. The MGM movie musicals, Metro Goldwyn Mayer, they are still relevant today. They're the style of music and the classics reach out to those people that are in their golden years. It brings them back into, wow, I saw Singing in the Rain in the movies when I was on my first date. That it brings those memories back to them and brings it into their current lives, as well as appealing to the younger generation, and bringing them, it kind of brings the generations together. The generation gap is closed by this music, this very touching, powerful music. MGM in concert, pretty much the pivotal point in my theatrical life. Age of 26, I was doing a production of Evita down in Orange County, and the lady playing Evita was fantastic. She was a fantastic singer, person. I was so smitten by her. We're 2 years apart in age, but we were born on the same day. 2 Tauruses in the same room can be kind of scary. But as the show was coming to a close, we did over 300 performances together. She said, "Hey, I'm going back to Florida. My dad has this review show. It's a 3-person review, me, him, and we need a third. We need a guy to come do it. Would you be interested?" I was 26, very impressionable, working a full-time day job, and went, I have nothing to lose. Let's quit my job and move 3,000 miles away where I know nobody. Actually, my dad was living there at the time, but other than my dad, I didn't know anybody. So I went out to do this little thing called MGM in Concert, 1996. I just learned earlier today that the show had been, I knew it was running before I got involved with it, but it was almost a decade before I was involved. That show had been running with a different actor on and off throughout what's called the condo circuit in Florida, which is basically these self-contained communities, senior communities, where they have theaters ranging from 100 seats to 2,000 seats, state-of-the-art theaters. And I worked with Christy was the girl, her dad's name is Tony, and he helped me form from a big opera singer, belter, Andrew Lloyd Webber music, into somebody who understands a lyric and the importance of the lyric in a song and how to kind of loosen up a little bit. I was pretty stiff back in those days. So I got involved with MGM in Concert, and it was a unique learning experience for me because it's a review show, but not what you would see in this day and age. It's what I call old school, very stylized, very specific to an era of music that's still popular today. But it wasn't like I had a score of Rent or of Hamilton that I could go, okay, la, 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 this is what I sing. It's a whole bunch of medleys put together from an original perspective, very creative, and I was learning it from a cassette tape. 3,000 miles away. Went and did the show with them for several years in Florida. Really, really had a great time with it. 90 minutes of 3 people on stage, bringing back all this old fantastic music with an amazing accompanist. And it was a great experience for me. So I did it for the better part of, I'd say, 10 years with them in Florida. Lost contact with them. I moved to New York to try the Broadway thing, where all I did was wait tables in Times Square. Moved to pushing 40, moved to Texas to become a pharmacist. Don't ask. And then moved back to California with a full-time corporate job, not really doing theater anymore. Find out these great people, Christy and Tony, had moved out to California. We reconnected on Facebook. They said, hey, let's bring back MGM in Concert. My church needs they need a fundraiser show. So they've asked us if we had anything, let's do it. So this was about 2014, I want to say. And so we brought the show back together. We were reunited. It was so much fun. And we kind of put it aside for a while. We stayed in touch. We all had our own lives that we were doing. I was still in the corporate world. then when I had the thought of starting my own theater company, P3 Theater Company, I thought, hey, I've got something that can become a staple part of our company, and that's this MGM in concert. So now the challenge, the exciting challenge, is to be able to take this show that ran for years and years and years on the East Coast of the United States and bring it out to a whole new demographic of age ranges from this tall to that tall, all types, and bring it and spread this joyous music. So we're in the process of bringing this MGM in concert to not just the local area here, Orange County, LA-ish, but we want to expand the show, basically from Bakersfield to Tijuana, out as far as Victorville, and maybe, I don't know, MGM in concert, MGM Grand Hotel in Vegas. There could be a good connection there. So I think it's going to be a fantastic thing to breathe new life in it. We're getting a buzz created now where we're to the point where we have hired understudies because the demand is starting to grow. And if we have two venues that want the show at the same time, you can't do it with one cast. So we're looking to expand our core group with the almost original cast. I was a new person back in the mid-90s, but I've been a staple with the show since then. People really love MGM in concert. Again, I keep bringing up the generations, but it's because different things will appeal to different people. And people who know this music and are familiar with it, they love having that brought back to them. Like, oh my gosh, I forgot that song. Wow, I remember this, I remember that. And then the younger generation, it appeals to them because the lyrics and the stories, as old-fashioned as they may seem, they're relevant. It's just the music and lyrics you can transcend into modern times. It may not say exactly the same words, but the meaning behind the words is relevant. And people once they come and see this and go, I don't know that song, but oh wow, that's what happens when those two people fall in love, type of thing. And it really is relatable, even though society has changed so much. People can still relate to that music because it's I hate to use the word generic because it's such a word that just seems like generic, but it's all encompassing. That's a better word. It's all encompassing. Tony Santamoro, the father of Christy Mauro-Cohen, who is the young lady who brought me out to Florida to do the show, he's the brainchild behind the compilation of all the music and vignettes that are in this amazing concert. He scared me when I met him. I was Mr. I have to sound pretty, and he's like, no, that's not how you sing. I need to know what you're singing, not how you sound when you're singing it. And I was 26 and going, oh my God, what did I get myself into? And then I understood. Working with him on stage, he's a maniac. And I mean that in the very best of ways. You never know what's going to happen. You could turn to where he's supposed to be, and he could be hiding behind the curtain, sticking his head out. It's because he loves what he does. And somehow I wish somebody could tap into his brain and figure out how he puts all of this together. He is extremely well-versed on that era of music and the actors and actresses, performers, composers, everything involved with that. You could ask him anything about the MGM era of when the musicals were really, really big. And he's just a genius. He knows. So he didn't just sit there and go, I'm going to put that phrase together with that phrase because it works musically. He put stories together. He put themes together, love themes, holiday themes, how certain parts are focused on the female ingenue. Just from a musical standpoint, with a huge background in music theory, as a musician, it's brilliant. He puts things in medleys together. You go, I didn't even realize you could do those two songs at the same time. And it's great. And he didn't approach it from a structural standpoint. He wanted to tell a story in his own way. And by combining all these different stories that were told in these different MGM musicals that may have nothing to do with each other, he's made his own story. And it's very appealing to anybody who sees it. And it moves very quickly. You can't fall asleep, because if you fall asleep, you will definitely miss something. And it just moves like this, and it's entrancing to the viewer. The common theme of everything in this show, as my dear friend Tony Santamaro, the creator of the show, says, there was a time when entertainment was spelled MGM. And I think that that's really what makes the show so appealing to the masses, as it were, is that it's entertaining. Above everything else, it's entertaining.